Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This is Undisturbed Potato and we are playing some more Vault Hunters. Last time I did talk about wanting to make a new hammer when we hit level 80. The reason for that was because I was planning on making one of the new hammers from the tools that we just unlocked by hitting level 80. However, I looked at the recipe for the echoing hammer and this guy is pretty pricey. I now feel a little more comfortable making black chromatic steel with our resources. However, if we're gonna need 8 echo gems per ingot and we need 9 of them, that's 72 echo gems right there, which they're pretty hard and really rare to find. And I'd rather use those to make keys, because the keys will allow us to get pogs, which utilize an echo gem and the player gems. I don't know. I think our echo gems could go to better uses, especially since we're going to be starting to get into a little bit of mechanism and other mods that may be needing echo gem as a resource. And I don't think making this was the right choice. So instead, I made a new hammer, but this one was made out of black chromatic steel. So it does have an increase over our other hammer that we had made. And yeah, so that's going to be the main task for this episode, and it is to make the best possible hammer we can make, I guess. A little waste of words right there, but yeah, I'm gonna go through the process and how I choose gems and how I cut them, I guess, and see which ones I like the most. So I did a little bit of preparation beforehand, moving the gems that I will be using, but just a little bit of a demonstration as to what goes through my mind when I'm choosing gems to make the absolute best hammer possible for the vaults. I usually store my gems inside chests, because when you put it inside the storage system, it's gonna pop out. Like if I put cards, these are all the cards that we have, not to mention I put some away already inside some other treasure decks, so I could start creating different decks depending on what I need. But yes, as you can see, there's plenty of cards, and if you were to do the jewels and put them all into a system, they would basically do the exact same thing. And that could get a little annoying and confusing, especially if you take a few of them out. Some of them might switch places, and yeah, it's a little bit of a mess. So I usually just store them in chests, because you could just come in, hover over them and see what they give you, and then if you click on it, nothing really changes, and then you can always put it back, which is pretty simple. But yeah, the first step that I do in my process is go through these gems and I look for what I need. And there's, I think, 3 things that are the main focus whenever I'm here choosing them. And they are hitting about 54-56 mining speed, because that'll allow you to insta break blocks and the ores in the vault in one go. So that's one of the minimums. Another one would be durability. That one's not as important, but it's very nice to have. And I would say the other 2 are reach. I think the maximum reach that you could add to any tool is 3, so hitting that is very nice, because sometimes whenever I am going to the mining POIs, I just want to stand at the top and just mine straight down, collect everything, and dip. And that definitely comes in handy. And then last but not least, copiously. In Vault Hunters, copiously increases the chances of doubling the ores or gems, depending on whether you run Silk Touch or Fortune. But yes, you could double ores with copiously, and that's my favorite thing to do, because it's not a guarantee ore drop every time you mine one of those ores in the vaults. So I'd like to gather as many ores as possible, and whenever I run low and need more, I place them down and break it. Which, if you use a Fortune copiously pick in my opinion, I think it's doubled it even further. I'm not too sure about that, but if you use Silk Touch and you have Copiously, you could still double, triple the ores when you mine it. So, those are the 4 requirements for picking a jewel alongside of hammer size. If you want to increase the area that you mine, which if you find a mine room, having a hammer that could mine an area bigger than a 3x3 is extremely useful. So, you just, or how I do it is I look at these chests and I go over it. Some of these jewels are higher than 24, which I don't like. However, some of them do have multiple traits. And if it has multiple traits that I do want to utilize, I will pick those. So, instead of wasting, I don't know, an hour to 2 hours going through each chest and looking for anything that might have double traits, kind of like this, or anything else of the sort, I have it already set up over here, where last night I kind of went through the chest and picked out everything that seemed really high in Copiously, durability, anything with double traits, whatever the case may be. And well, as you can see, I had this whole thing full along with these, but these were the guys that I'm mainly focusing on right now. As you can see right here, this is one of the jewels that I was referring to earlier, where it had multiple traits that I do want to put on my hammer. And this one's perfect because it's literally size 10. However, there's also this one that literally has all 4 traits that I do want. And if I were to put one trait on at a time, that would, at a perfect cut, it would be at least 40 that I'm adding onto the capacity for my hammer. So that means I lose that much to put these 4 traits. But some of these jewels have multiple traits for a small size. This one's 28. I could probably cut it down to 20, which would be half, while adding double the amount of traits as normal gems. So yeah, that's how I usually go on about it. And so with that, it's time to cut some gems up. To cut up gems, you need, or jewels is the proper name, I guess. But to do that, you just need a jewel cutting station. And all you gotta put inside is silver scrap, which you can get from wooden chests, and or when you destroy all the useless jewels that you don't want, it'll turn into scrap and the gemstones. And with the scrap and gemstones, you can toss it in here, throw in some bronze, and craft your own bad boys. And, how I said, use the scrap and use gold. At this point in the game, we have completed quite a few vaults and have a lot of money stored. So, this isn't an issue now, but definitely early game, it is very hard to make hammers and tools with all the traits that you want. But yeah. A little something that I did do is I did go into the configuration folder and I did change the Vault's XP level just for level 80. I did increase it to 4 million instead of 400,000 just because I've been following along the YouTubers and streamers on Twitch and their playthroughs, and they keep saying that they're going to be adding different things to Vault Hunters over a period of time, and I don't want to hit level 100 too soon because I don't know what they might be changing, what they might be adding, and whatnot. So I kind of want to slow down the leveling progression, if possible, so that I could experience those new additions as they come. And we'll see. I might create a new limit at a different point just to slow it down, but this will also allow me to get way more vaults and experiment with tons of new builds, because last episode I went, or a few episodes ago, or experiment with new builds, because previously I have went over my hybrid build and my all magic build. However, there are plenty of different things to try out when you play Vault Hunters, so I might give that a shot. And when you have a limit, it is a lot easier to do things like that. So, without further ado, let's start cutting up some of these guys before I just keep on rambling on like a maniac. So, some of these things have everything we want, and we only want to take the things that are larger than size 10, because size 10 is perfect. You can't really change anything about it, but everybody else that's not size 10 can be cut down. One of the things that you gotta know when you do play Vault Hunters is that cutting jewels comes with a price, because these jewels do have different levels to them. I will show you right now. So earlier we saw that there's perfect gems or jewels. There's flawless, which is a step below perfect, and then I'm pretty sure there's a flawed, and then the last one is chipped. So those are the 4 tiers, and each time you cut a jewel, there's a chance that it will degrade. So if I had cut this, it'll turn into flawless, and then if I cut it again, it'll turn to flawed, and if I cut it again, it'll turn to chipped. And if a jewel has multiple traits, each time it degrades, it has a very high chance of losing a trait. As for which trait is lost, I have no clue. I just believe it's random. But yeah, the only way you could help mitigate that risk is if you use your expertise points and put it into the jeweler, because then, as you can see, you'll be able to cut the jewels without affecting their grade. And at max points, if you put 3 points in, you get 3 free cuts before it starts affecting their grade. So for me, I have all 3 points in, and for me, I just need to toss it in, cut it 3 times, and see if it hits the value that I want. So let's start off up here. I did not notice that boy was already cut. That is one of the sad things. If you don't pay attention, you could actually accidentally destroy the things that you want. But that guy was pretty high in size, so it is a loss, but at the same time, I think I might be a-okay substituting another jewel for that. So, when you just have the jewel in your inventory or in a chest, you can't really see if it's been cut. So the only way to check it is if you throw it into a station and you hover over it, which I need to pay attention because I think I might have cut a few of these jewels before, and I really don't want to keep destroying them because that was a waste of a legendary jewel. So this guy has 3 cuts available. As you can see, the white little circle is empty, I guess, but if I press it once, boom, it cuts the jewel and it highlights 1. So I have 2 more attempts, and just like that, we got a perfect jewel. That's awesome. And I'm just gonna do this for all of these guys, see what levels I can get, because if I could get all these 2 10s, it'll allow me to put all these jewels that I do want. However, if I can't get 10s all across the board, then this puts me in a little bit of a tight spot, just because I might not have the capacity to be able to put everything on my hammer. After all, the hammer that we are working with is the Black Chromatic, which does have, I believe, 300 capacity. So we gotta do our best to get everything within range. That's why the jewels that I have selected are rather small in size, because that'll help us get 10s. However, some of these are larger than others because they do have multiple traits and or are near maxed when it comes to their percentages. So I was willing to risk it just to see how effective it will be, because like some of these, as you can see, is 5.7, and like some of these guys are pretty high in percentages, as you can see, 3.5 and whatnot. However, to get 5.7, I would probably need to add 2 different copious sleeves to get that amount, which would be 20 compared to just adding one, that's 11. So yeah, you gotta mix and match, figure out what's best for you and what you're gonna be putting on your hammer. But this is how I usually go on about it. Like this. It's kind of sad because I could cut it one more time, but it could remove one of the traits that I might like. So I usually just play it safe and make do. Oh well, I got rid of some stuff accidentally. Wasn't paying attention. That's why you need to pay attention. Because, yeah, if not, you're going to end up like me, cutting different things. I was trying to explain things, so I wasn't on my A game, but just with that, I have all those cut up. Now it's time for the fun. Where's my hammer? Did I leave it over here? I swear I just had it. Okay, there we go. So, I destroyed 2 jewels, or I destroyed 1 jewel, and I messed up another one because I was not paying attention. So, last night when I threw everything on, I hit my mining speed. I hit a high copious amount, and I had a pretty good reach, or I maxed out reach. So, now that I've messed up a few things, I'm gonna add everything on there and see what we get. Because if I don't have the same numbers as last time, I might have to rearrange some of the jewels and see what we like. As you can see, we still have 23 capacity remaining, which means we have enough room to add about 2 more jewels that are perfect, or at least 1 perfect and 1 at 13. So, our total durability will be 11,900, which is insanely good because this one has lasted me quite a while through quite a few volts, and this one is only at 7,000. So, imagine adding 4,000 to it. That is pretty crazy. So, copiously is now at 47.9%. Last night I had it at, I believe, 49.9, so it was literally 0.1 off. So, now that we have 20 capacity, we might be able to add something here. Same thing for the reach. It was maxed out at 3. However, now that we're down, I'm going to need to find another reach that could add the last points. What is it, 5.5 to hit the 3? So, we have 2 things that we're going to want to look for. Our mining speed did take a hit. Yesterday it was at like 54 on its own, but that's not too much of an issue because this is adding 50.5 mining speed when we already have 9 mining speed, which means we're at 59, which exceeds the 54-56 range that I was aiming for. Not to mention, we have a mining speed card in our deck, and our magnet does add mining speed, so that's not too much of an issue right now. Something to look for is the ability to mine things, and as you can see, we have picking, shoveling, and axing, which means we have everything. We have increased our hammer size, so we'll be able to mine a bigger range. So, now you guys get to watch me look through this and see what we're going to add. So here I have copiously, which will add 2.3%, and then we have this copious, which could add 3.5. My main task right now is looking to add reach. So, this has reach, but it is quite large. This one also has reach. And let's see, we're trying to hit 0.55 in reach. Copiously, I'm not too worried about because there's multiple ways that I could hit it. It's only the reach that I truly care about right now. So, based on some of the things that we already have, they're good, but they're not the best. So, I'm gonna look around a wee bit through the gems and see what we get. Let's see, what about this? Another huge guy, but we don't know. Okay, so if we were to add this would be amazing if we could get it down to 13. Because if we could get it down to 13, we would be able to add 1 more jewel for a perfect size of 10. This guy might be a little too big, and it doesn't add everything we exactly need. So, give this a little bit of a switcheroo, and look at the sizes. As you can see, this adds insane reach, but it is quite pricey. If anything, this guy might have a chance. Okay. This is the fun part, because you gotta pay very close attention to what you're hovering over, because you don't know what duos this might add. Let's see. but it has coin affinity. I don't want to add things that do have other infinities because it can mess up setting up for the bingos. So that's another thing that I try looking for and avoiding, making sure they don't overlap. Okay, as you can see here, another very good one, and it's better. Is it better? I mean, I'm gonna hold on to these guys just in case, because we might be willing to take a hit on our copiously. Ooh, another one worth a shot. I might be willing to take a hit on my copiously just to make sure I hit the reach. And let's see if I can find the broken hammer that I used to have, so I could go over some of the traits on that. Did I put it over here? Nope. It's a shatter. Okay, not here. And this is the boring part that I was saving you guys from. Just me going over here, looking at everything, and then sometimes thinking I see something good and then having to go back to it. As you can see, I'm finding a lot of different sizes that have pretty good reaches. It's a max 0.3. Kind of sad. Let's see, no copious with a reach. I think I might have grabbed them all, if I'm being honest. And this guy is really damn good. So we're gonna give him a shot. He has yet to be cut. That is awesome. Let's see, will this guy fix our worries? If we come down here, 51% copiously. We're only 0.26 away from our reach goal. Our mining speed has increased even more. We still have our picking, shoveling, and everything. So I think the only thing we need to do now is hit our 3 reach, and we can only do that with a 10 or a 13. Yeah. So here I could just immediately add this guy. It'll automatically hit, but kind of want to utilize something else that might be a little bit cheaper, just so we'll have these higher joules available for the next tool, because these are pretty important, so you gotta be a little careful about that. So I think this guy is in it to win it. That is the perfect cut, and just like that, we have 3 capacity. We have increased durability, we have our copiously, we have reach, we have mining speed, we got our picking, shoveling, and axing, and just like that, once you click apply all joules, you'll have the perfect hammer, or the best possible hammer you can craft at whatever period of time you are in. I kind of want to see if I could organize my hammer a little bit just to make this little spaghetti of the writing into a nice little neat thing. And I'll be back when I'm done with that. Alright guys, I am back. I reorganized the joules to move the suffixes around to kind of get it a little bit more organized, and I was able to get the things that were very important grouped up together. So we have our +6 hammer size, we have our 3 reach, 51% copiously, 58 mining speed, and then our durability. As for the things that are not so important for this hammer, because we're probably not going to use it for other things, is the immortality, trap, item quantity, and item rarity. And for the last 3, I was able to group them together after rearranging the gems in a variety of ways. This was the only way I could get it, was the shoveling, axing, and picking all together. So with this, I have finished our baby. Now we just click apply, boom, all those joules, all that time, everything to do this. For you guys, it may have been only, what, a 20 to 30 minute process that you guys watched, but for me, this was about 2 hours worth of work, which is pretty insane. So as I said, you could come over here, toss it in here, apply whatever enchantments you want. For me, it's Silk Touch, because I like collecting all the ores. As you can see in here, I just put Vault and then ore. Boom. That's everything that I do collect. Some of it gets multiplied, so we have a variety. Or if you just put stone and ore, you can see the other variant version of it. And just like that, this is the other stuff that you can find in the crystal room and or in the mine room. So with that, guys, that basically concludes the meat and potatoes of our episode. I will be vaulting around. I might level up, I don't know. If you guys ever want to see some builds or just want me to make videos on certain things that I might be able to give tips on, just let me know down in the comments. And while you're down there, be sure to drop a like, and if you aren't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel. So with that, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, peace out.